The Pi network has been trending on the internet, and as of this week, there's about 13 million users in total. In this video, I want to answer one of the biggest questions that people have, and that question is how long until we can actually use a coin to make everyday purchases? And what will the world look like after the coins are released? And I think you might actually be surprised at how soon that might actually be. So this project started back in 2019 by a group of Stanford entrepreneurs. And we're talking about pretty smart people like 2 PhDs and 1 MBA. And the goal here was to create a decentralized cryptocurrency for the average person. And as somebody who's watching this video, you might wonder how this differs from something like Bitcoin. And the biggest distinction here is that you don't need a lot of computing power to be able to mine any Pi coins. Instead, all you need to do is download the app from the App Store and click a simple button every 24 hours. And this makes the cryptocurrency super accessible for anybody around the world. This works because the coins are actually mined by the developers, and the coins that you do earn are simply recorded onto a server for the developers here to keep tab. So the really cool thing about this project is that we really don't have a lot to worry about. And if you guys do decide to sign up, make sure to use the link below and also my invitation code MAGICTUNA. And I know at face value this project seems way too good to be true, but after researching it, I didn't see a single red flag. For example, you don't give this company any money, there hasn't been any case of your data being stolen, and also you can turn off any ads if you want to. And like I mentioned earlier, this application is really starting to grow, and it's also recruiting some really powerful people. And you can see here that a former executive at Sony recently joined the team, and it looks like she's going to be in control of marketing, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen next, because I think the Pi network has a really interesting story, and I hope a lot of people are able to hear about it. And before we move on to the topic of this video, I do want to mention that I recently redid my video on how much I think a Pi coin is going to be potentially worth. And this is because in my last video, I felt like I didn't go deep enough on the topic, so I decided to whip out my Excel spreadsheet to see what I can calculate. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that video, and I think many of you guys are going to find my calculations really surprising, but also really interesting. And sorry for the long digression so far, which comes off as a long rant by me, but let's get started with the topic of this video, which is how long until we can actually access our Pi balance. And to give you guys some perspective, some people have been waiting since March 14th of 2019. This is when the project first started, and if you notice, it's also on Pi Day. I think this is a super Stanford thing to do, but it's also pretty cool. You can see here that the idea of the Pi network was created by these 3 individuals, and they had a pretty grand plan, so I'm not surprised that we're still not able to withdraw any Pi coins. But over time, this project has made progress and has grown pretty significantly. And since the start, this project has expanded into a whole team of really talented people. One of the things they wanted to do was to make sure that the currency doesn't end up in the hands of a small group of people. And for example, a crazy stat that I remember about Bitcoin is that 95% of all Bitcoin is controlled by 2% of the accounts. And this makes a lot of sense because mining Bitcoin is pretty capital intensive. This means that you need a lot of money to be able to buy all the equipment to mine Bitcoin. And because of this, over time, the supply of Bitcoin gets concentrated in a small group of people. And if you really think about it, this is really where the Pi network shines above any other cryptocurrencies. Since for you to be able to mine any Pi coins, all you really need is a cell phone. So it would make a lot of sense for this project to take a long time to be developed and also implemented, because it takes a lot of work and planning to make sure that this system works, especially because the developers here would have no control over the currency after it's released. And before I talk about when you're going to be able to withdraw your Pi balance, let's take a look at how the Pi network got to where it is today, because this gives you a better idea of what the network has been through before getting to this point, and it also helps you understand the vision of the project much better. And you can say that this idea really took off and resonated in a lot of people since it was able to reach 10,000 users in May of 2019. And at this stage of the project, it was in what we call phase 1, or the stage of the project where the developers here really wanted to get the name of the project out into the world. And I'm pretty jealous of anyone who was able to sign up back then because you guys had a crazy mining rate. But one thing you had to remember was that this crazy mining rate didn't last too long. In fact, it lasted for about 69 days in total. And after this, the network was able to hit 100,000 users on July of 2019. This is when phase 2 of the project officially launched. And it's still the same phase of the project that we're still on today. The main goal of this phase is really to test the applications and introduce something called testnet, which is similar to blockchain. And once the project was able to get to this phase, it was able to get much more attention than ever before. The Stanford Daily published an article on them on September the 16th, and shortly after this, they were able to reach 1 million users, which is not an easy feat for anybody. And I think after this point, you started to see a lot more invitation codes on the internet. And some people might think that the invitation codes are super annoying, but it also helped the project stand up on its own. And this project really spread through the internet like wildfire. I mean, I have seen invitation codes for the Pi network almost everywhere. and sometimes in the most random videos on YouTube or TikTok. And what I'm trying to say here is that during phase 2 of the project, the developers here are really trying to fix up any issues, and also letting the project grow as much as they can online, because it's going to really help preserve the value of any Pi coins in the future. Think about it this way, the more people that know about the Pi network, the more potential buyers there are for a Pi coin in the future. And personally, I want to see the project grow as much as it can before the developers here release your coins. The network here was able to hit 10 million users in December of 2020, and by February of this year, we already hit about 13 million users. I'm actually curious at how many members we're going to be able to get this year, but I have a feeling that it's going to be pretty close to 100 million. Things like this grow exponentially, and I really wouldn't be surprised if it hits that number. And one thing you guys have to realize is that mining is actually going to stop pretty soon if this is true. It can stop when the project hits 100 million users or when phase 3 of the project finally begins. And it looks like it's basically whatever comes earlier. The developers here estimate that phase 3 will officially begin in Q4 of 2021. Q4 can basically mean anything from October, November, all the way to December, but it's good to know that they have an official stop date for the project. At this point of the project, mining is likely to be stopped, and you're going to be able to withdraw your Pi coins and even donate your Pi coins if you want to. I personally do think that we're going to be able to hit phase 3 before reaching 100 million users. We might be close to 100 million users by the end of the year, but we might not exactly hit it. Therefore, I think you're going to be able to use and withdraw your coins by the end of this year, most likely in October, November, or December, but before this project officially hits 100 million users. And one of the most fascinating things about this is what really happens during phase 3 of the project. Like I mentioned earlier, this is really when the developers take their hands off the wheel. By this point, they're going to have a lot of infrastructure in place to protect the value of Pi coins. But it's really going to be up to people like you and I to determine the final prices. One of the most interesting things I read about phase 3 is really the marketplace concept. You see, the biggest problem with any sort of new cryptocurrency is that nobody uses the coin. And because of this, a coin will never have value. But with the marketplace concept, the creators here are literally providing you a place to use your Pi coins. And you can imagine this website like an eBay or a Craigslist, but only with Pi coins. So you're going to be able to offer services and products in exchange for Pi coins. For example, I might want to sell my camera for about, let's say, 300 Pi coins. Or I might spend 100 Pi coins on buying a new computer monitor. And lastly, I might even provide accounting services to somebody at a rate of 20 Pi coins per hour. I hope you can see that the possibilities here are pretty endless, and at this point, Pi coins are pretty much cash. And also at this point of the project, the developers here are likely to apply the coin to be listed onto a cryptocurrency exchange. An exchange like Coinbase is going to be a pretty obvious choice. And during the application process, Coinbase is probably going to look at things like market cap, the white paper, the demand for the product, and also the historical trading data. And I think it's pretty much going to be a no-brainer for Pi coins to be listed on a cryptocurrency exchange like Coinbase. Personally, I don't think I'm going to be selling any of my Pi coins when the coins do become released. I mean, cryptocurrencies are on an uptrend in popularity, and it's unlike the days of Bitcoin back in 2009, when people were basically trading Bitcoins for cat stickers online. Today, we have a proof of concept that cryptocurrencies do work, and the idea of a decentralized cryptocurrency is getting more and more popular. Plus, if you think about it, with a network of over 13 million users as of right now, it's pretty hard for this to fail. I can't say for sure what will happen, but after doing research for my next video on the price of a Pi coin, you might be honestly surprised on what you're able to get. Make sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for my next video. Check out some of the promotions below, including the Pi network, to support this channel. I hope you guys are having a great week, and like always, I'll see you guys again next time.